Awesome. Hello. Listen, I am laughing simply because I feel every time I get a flow going, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, some sort of tower. If you're familiar with tarot, you know, like a tower is just like a seeming obstacle or some repeat or something that you may have to dissect into parts and neutralize in order to move forward. So I say this to say I feel as if every time I gain some sort of traction, there's a tower that needs disassembling and figuring out of so that I can move on to the next step, right? That being said, I was getting ready for gym this morning and then I started to shower. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do the next thing that brings me joy, which is to sit and chat and really dish out life experiences and beliefs from a higher perspective through the guidance of my spirit team. So this morning, I decided, you know what, let me just go and change up a little bit and set up this ring light and just sit and chat for a bit about, you know, what's happening in the collective at this time, the current energy in the collective, especially as we ushered in officially the age of Aquarius. I mean, the age of Aquarius have been here for a while, but as people wake up more to what their life purpose is, one, and secondly how it is that they prefer living, you know, based on what their nervous system is telling them, based on how they feel in their bodies, that energy is going to pick up more momentum. And many of us who would have come here to witness this time, to be a part of these time, we are being activated further, you know, during this high momentum of Aquarian energy, of that Aquarius age era, right? So what I wanted to do is first and foremost say, my videos may not resonate with everybody. If it doesn't, then feel free to search for some other content that, you know, resonates with you. But most times persons are going to be led to this video. It's going to be because there is a little spark in you that is just waiting to be nurtured or just tended to a bit so that that fire can burn, because nothing in our physical reality is of coincidence, right? So if you've been led here to look at this video, chances are there are a couple things in it for you, or that it's just one of the ways that your own team have been trying to, you know, explain to you, and this may just be the icing on the cake, or maybe just the beginning of what it is to be a cake batter. I will make these food analogies simply because I love food, I love being in the kitchen. I think if you follow me on like Instagram and stuff, you would see that I'm all about helping our avatar thrive during these times by balancing our nutrition, our fitness, and that whole spiritual aspect of being here, you know, of waking up to who you truly are and your capabilities, your potential, just shifting those gears. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. I'm just going to take a moment to ground myself in the energy, and then we're gonna chat really quick. I don't know what else we're going to chat about, but chances are there might be a couple other tidbits added on to just what's happening in the collective at this time, analyzing the energy currently and breaking it down into how it could apply in your life or how it is being applied in your life. So just making us a little bit more aware so that we can make the better decisions and just break the patterns that has been holding us back to some degree so that the physical reality can morph to shape that, right? Okay. So, first off, what we want to say is that you aren't here by coincidence. You being on the planet at this time, it isn't a coincidence. What may seem a bit redundant to you is just you acting out that same vibe that your nervous system have been used to over all of these years. So, as avatars on this planet, hosting these beautiful spirits slash souls, we have been programmed based on experiences. And I came across a quote the other day that said, how you speak to your children becomes your inner voice. And when you look deep into that, you start realizing that, hey, how do I speak to myself? What is my inner voice like? And lots of times you would hear your guardians in your head from when you were younger. Maybe you may not even recognize it's them, but really and truly, it has been the program that was handed to you based on where they were at, right? And where you are now. And a lot of times, people don't take the time to go in there and do some editing. So if it is that you feel in this current energies that you are on a loop, it's simply because you haven't just taken the time to just dissect a bit what is you and what isn't. And how do you know on some level what is you? You know what you are about, leaving out the outside chaos. And that is through just stillness and following your body's cue, because a lot of times our bodies are like screaming to us and telling us, hey, I don't prefer this, I prefer that. I don't prefer this food, I prefer this. I don't prefer working out in the morning, but I prefer working out in the evening. Or I don't prefer working out in the morning, but when I do work out in the morning, I do feel better. So it's about taking stock of what your body is trying to say to you and where your intuition is leading you to in this present energy. The discomfort now comes when it is you have to challenge that part of you that have been programmed for so long to move in a particular way or to make particular decisions, right? And how we go about going in and picking out the parts of us that are clinging on for dear life to that current energy is through stillness yet again. And in the stillness, you would realize that, hey, and most times we say these things to ourselves or we might say to other people, but really, do we take into consideration how deep and meaningful it is or it could be if we applied it, to our lives? And one of the quotes would be, you only have one life to live, or tomorrow is never guaranteed. I think there's also a quote that say, live today as if it's going to be your last day. You should live every day as if it's going to be your last day. And when you look into this quote, you realize what, in essence, what it really does communicate to us is life is supposed to be so zesty. Because if you were told, hey, this is your last day on the planet, right? You are an unlimited being and this is your last day. Now, how would you spend that? And 90% of the world, let's say the world, don't live that way. and it's all a deconstructing of the current programs of what we were told is favorable, what we were told is going to work. And little by little, that little spark of magic that we would have once believed in as children, that slowly begins to die as we conform to a society that doesn't really cater to the nervous system. So imagine your compass, right? Your compass, which is your nervous system. Because if you were to close your eyes and move through life, you would be depending solely on your feels, your auric feels, how you feel, maybe what you hear, what you smell, right? And all of that would contribute to how you feel within your body. Um, so, that being said, what it is we need to tend to now is our nervous system and getting in a space of where we feel totally balanced. And balance doesn't necessarily mean, shit isn't happening on the outside or chaos doesn't exist on the outside. And I'm being told that let's not put a tab on things happening, because things that are happening will only affect us in the way that we think that they can affect us. That's how powerful we really and truly are. So it depends on the label you give to something, and the label you give to something then again would be determined by the definition you have about it, right? Um, so it's all about understanding. I prefer to say understanding because you're in that little world all by yourself, and you are basically going through your programs, tweaking this doesn't work for me in my reality. So here, let me check the belief that is backing this, habit, that is backing this pattern. And, let's tweak it. It's about being open to catering to your inner child as well. And in that, you are indirectly communicating really great energy to your nervous system. Your inner child is that part of you that is here to create. He or she is here to live life, be zesty, create as much as they can from a place of playfulness and love. Um, that part of many persons that was wounded in times past, and that part of us, sadly, we sometimes treat that part of us just as our perpetrators would have treated that part of us, or treated us as a child, simply because we've been programmed to think this behavior would get me this reward. Example, putting people before myself is what makes my parents happy, especially if you were a firstborn or you came in as one of the elders or one of the older persons in the household, and then there's children. In a lot of households, you were told as the firstborn, oh, you need to cater to your siblings. You are the example for the siblings. So, right there and then, this burden of being perfect was now placed on you, and any mistakes that the younger one would make is like you said that example, that kind of narrative. So over time, you are programming yourself to do particular things, and then the energy that is supposed to be directed at self and recycled to pour into others is just poured into others. And then now you have a nervous system that's frying, literally frying, because self hasn't been tended to, that inner child hasn't been heard, even by the spirit that's taken on the form of, you know, whoever you are. Um, So we've really been called in these energies to pay attention to our nervous system and what it is saying to us, what it is calling us to do. We're also called to slow down a little bit more and tap into the playfulness of the child, right? Bringing that playfulness to whatever you do for a living, because that is the lightheartedness that makes what they say time go fast, that makes you feel like time hasn't really gone by because it's just such a beautiful moment. But truth and fact is beautiful moments just rolling out during the day, uh, bringing that excitement back to life. And it's easier said than done for many persons simply because we haven't been taught how to do that. Like how to move from one frequency to another, how to move from one timeline to another, how to collapse several timelines, damn it. And quantum leap into, and quantum just means energy, right? So it just means an energetic leap, so that your physical may not change, but how you feel changes, and in time your reality starts morphing towards your feelings. Because as my guides always remind me, the feelings that you master in your lifetime is what is going to be the dominant physical reality that you create. So, what is the feeling you feel the most? If just pay attention and go into your body, and each time during the day, when you might remember, me asking you this, think about, what am I feeling now? Where does that come from? Um, what was I just thinking about that would have made me feel this way? Because thoughts would produce feelings, and feelings produce chemicals in the body, and the chemicals in the body now multiply and multiply and multiply, and then over time that becomes the dominant energy. It's been so amazing, I think, side note, it's so amazing to really sit and understand that everything begins with your thoughts, just your thoughts. And the thing is, like, most of it is unconscious because most of it, you've been programmed that way from a child, unless you are in this place of soul searching and awareness as to what your habits really are, and your habits all come from the baseline thought that you had that morning, you know, or whatever time of day. Um, I'm hoping that you see this before you start your day, hence the reason I'm saying morning. Um, yeah, so what we wanted to do is just give two exercises that you can use throughout your day to really bring the energy back into yourself, one, and to secondly put not a label per se, but to put a feeling to the thought, or be able to connect the dots from the feeling to the thought, put it together and feel what it is you're feeling, and then you're able now to go in the back of that, the background, what's happening in the background of that, and see all the beliefs that have been running that particular program or that particular habit slash pattern. So the first one is going to be, each morning that you wake up, you want to spend at least 15 minutes sitting in the energy of gratitude. So they're saying 10 to 15 minutes. So it doesn't have to go past 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes sitting in the space of gratitude. Now, we all have so many things to be grateful for, and I know that these are things that we hear all the time, but because, on some level, we're always seeking more, and how the system is set up, we have to get more, in order to thrive. That's what it seems. But what is more? You know, for some, they were taught that abundance is strictly money. Truth and in fact, it isn't. Abundance is really everything around you that assists you in thriving, right? So think about oxygen, for example, like if we didn't have that, or all the other gases that we need, if we didn't have that. That's one thing to be like major grateful for. Think about the water that you get to drink when you're thirsty. And in a place like beautiful Grenada, I'm recording in Grenada for like subscribers who aren't on island, but I'm recording Grenada. And think about this beautiful island we're blessed with, or wherever you are. Think about the amenities you're granted almost by redundancy, because you wake up and it's there. These are all things that we get to be grateful for. I am saying this, and I remember like my mom saying a lot of times, like she would make us some breakfast and we may not want that, and she'd be like, oh, and the children in Africa, they didn't have the pleasure of this, and if they see this they'll be so happy. And in my mind as a child, it's like, what do children in Africa have to do with this porridge feeding me? But it is, and it was something to be grateful for, because it was sustenance, and it's by being grateful for all of these things the multiplication or the multiplying comes in, because that energy of gratitude, I'm talking about genuine gratitude that you feel in your heart space, and you're able to embody and just sit in the ripples and bliss of just how blessed you are. Yeah, being able to sit in that. Now that level of gratitude goes out into the universe and brings in more things to be grateful for, as opposed to criticizing the thing that come, being hard on yourself in times when you really need to be speaking nice to yourself. You're just gonna get more of what you feel, more of what you put out. That is how powerful you are. That's how powerful we are, right? Um, I also wanted to share this last exercise. So once you've sat in that space of gratitude, now you go out there with that vibe. You go to work with that vibe, and now your energy is shifting, your energy is changing, because the chemicals that your body produce while you are feeling gratitude is very different to the chemicals your body would produce when you are feeling super stressed out and insecure and very critical of the reality that you are currently creating, right? Now, the second exercise that we're encouraged to try is during the course of your day, you would always become aware of a feeling once it has taken over your entire system, meaning that once your body start changing the chemicals now, because this person is highly stressed, this person, they were in that realm of gratitude, and something in the outer reality has pulled them into this constant loop of thought of how horrible it is to be here, or how bad or hard things are. Now, as the chemicals begin changing, the avatar starts feeling different, the nervous system starts responding very differently. You go into fight or flight mode. Your nerves, as they say, become short, like you're quick to respond, impulsive to respond. Um, that's when a lot of humans would realize that, hey, I'm feeling some bad vibes, or I'm feeling heavy, or I'm feeling off. And that moment is when you lock it in, you sit with it. Even if you're at your job, you can take 3 minutes in the bathroom with some breaths, and it's all about inhale gratitude, exhale fear. Because most of the time, what you feel in your body is fear of the unfamiliar, like not knowing what it is that's coming next, what it is about to happen, that everything is crashing down, that this tower is crumbling, when truth and in fact is all about perspective. And all that we need to do is ground the energy in the body to decipher the way forward. So these are the two exercises that we wanted to leave here for you to try. It's just grounding yourself in the morning. 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of something to be grateful for. Even if you could only write down about 3 things based on the space you are in right now, go it over. Visualize yourself drinking the water, visualize yourself with the air. You have kids, visualize those kids, right? These are all things that we have been blessed with. And over time, what you would find happening is that the chemicals within your body they become more consistent, right? So 15 minutes a day of gratitude. Over time, that 15 minutes is going to lengthen. You might realize, damn, I went through the first half of my day and I felt the gratitude with everything. Oh, I went through the first 30 minutes of my day and I felt gratitude with everything. But in that, the more consistent you are, the longer you're able to maintain that vibration or that frequency, is the more momentum that's going to be building and the more things that are going to accumulate of that frequency of gratitude. So I wanted to drop this here to just soothe the collective at this time, because we are going through many changes, whether it's within the workplace, within family, personally. If we were to zoom out a bit more as a country, um, as the world, a lot of things have been really asking us to step into our divinity and start using our minds and bodies, the compass we were provided with to navigate. Nature navigates. Nature is in sync with herself, right? And she's able to navigate. And we are asked to join that, to be more in tune with what we're feeling and honor that, because you need you, and those around you need you too. So, have a good day, and I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna do this again really soon. But as I said, like, as life is happening on my end and I am adjusting to so many frequencies and doing the grid work that I'm here to do, um, it will all fit and flow as it should.